All right, Patreon members. This is for the Crypto Takeover Patreon family here and the trading group page. We're taking a look at Bitcoin to see what it might be giving us, some signs that we could kind of look forward to, maybe on some substantial pumps or dumps that might be taking place in the near-term future. We're going to start on the lower time frames and then work our way up from there. So we're looking at the 15-minute time frame to start off with. We have our pivot low right about the 11,400, and then pivot highs right about 11,500. And honestly, that's pretty close price range for Bitcoin, I feel like. So these can be equivalent to something like a Bollinger Bands if you want to consider that for the Cipher SR as well. But yeah, it is kind of looking very interesting because we've had this like kind of steady rise here, but usually Bitcoin doesn't do like steady rises and then consolidate out to the side. Usually likes to just kind of a couple of candles make it pump up a couple $1,000s, so I'm a little skeptical here just based on this kind of diagonal kind of rounded pump that we're having as of right now. We did take our last short back over here, put our stop in profit, and then this major pump here, and then it continued down a little bit further. So we could have taken a long back here, but was still kind of just wanting to evaluate the market a little bit more, maybe let some things kind of play out a little bit. So we're still looking at the 15-minute. We can see our money flows kind of rounding off a tad bit here too as well. It does look like we are moving back up into the green money flow as of right now, but still not a substantial cut back into the green money flow to get overzealous and over bullish right now. We do have this trend line break that's happening right now, on the 15-minute too as well. Let me go ahead and turn. It looks like the bulls are in control right now. We've had a little bit of unsure, market play on who wants to take control of the market for the time being. But it does look like the bulls are wanting to kind of move back up above that VWAP as of right now too as well. Then we can also see how we have this trend line that's also breaking, as I pointed out earlier, but I'm not expecting a big move here, honestly. So and let's just take a look at the higher time frames, and we can always come back to the 15-minute time frame and double check that too. So let's move on into the 20-minute. Let me refresh this window so that way it loads a little bit quicker. Give me 1 second. All right, so taking a look at the 20-minute time frame, you can see we have that same trend line here on the 20-minute as well. It definitely is a trend line to definitely take note of and be very noticeable of. We did have the break back here, and then we pushed back down, and now we're having the break once again, finding support down here on this purple trend line too. So what another key thing that we kind of want to look for is maybe a retest back down to this trend line, and if we do get that, then maybe I'll consider a short position. It's still the money flow here is still looking like it's wanting to remain push down a little bit, and maybe have us move back into that red money flow. Looking at the 30-minute time frame, we have that same trend line structure here too as well, and it looks like we did break back up above it. Money flow not giving us the same sign though either. We do have the blue momentum wave that almost looks like it's ready to top out and maybe give us a red dot here pretty soon too. So this would be a little bit riskier of a long based on this trend line break here. I don't think I'm ready to take that just yet. So let's go on into our 45-minute time frame. 45-minute time frame also giving us that same trend line here too, and it looks like we're breaking above it as well. So let's say we wanted to take this long here for right now. I would say that our 1 point extension and maybe even our 50% mark would be, that's not even a full 1 point extension, but if we were to at least get 50%, we'd see 11.6. But I'm still skeptical right now. But even though this money flow on the 45 minutes still looks pretty good, let's go on into the higher time frame still and see what's happening here. So we had the 1 hour trend line structure break. We came back down to retest the trend line, and we pushed back up above it again. Starting to see a little bit more of a bullish crosses here on the 1 hour time frame too as well. And then, you know, it looks like we are kind of pushing up here on the money flow side on the 1 hour too as well. I'm getting a nice buy signal there on the 1 hour. Let's take a look at the 90-minute time frame too as well. Sorry, excuse me. I'm trying to like clear my voice. I woke up not too long ago, so I'm still trying to, you know, make sure I'm speaking clearly to everyone. So this was another interesting trend line break here. But this one led us all the way back to that 10.5 or 12.5K run up too. And then we had this trend line break down here, and then we have another trend line that's also breaking as of right now too as well. So still, you know, it has the momentum behind it to at least get us through two major trend line resistance areas on the 90-minute time frame. You know, that looks pretty healthy. It looks okay. It looks okay for right now. But I'm not gonna want to take a heavy position here, only because if I even look at the 90-minute time frame, we're still very choppy here up and down on the money flow. It's not a clear and concise direction. We've been kind of ranging here, and really if it's up to Bitcoin whether or not it wants to break this kind of already downward structure that it's been kind of moving towards as of right now. So going on into the 2 hour, we can also see that, you know, we're breaking some key trend lines here. We had that trend, they had the dump to come back down and retest as well, and now it looks like we're heading back up, maybe possibly with another green dot here on the 2 hour. But money flow still indifferent about itself as well too. Let's go on into the 4 hour time frame, see what's happening. 4 hour time frame. So this is what I really want to take a look at, and this is why I'm not going to get too hesitant on taking a long based on some of those trend line breaks too as well. So I think more or less that those are probably just fake outs, fake trend line breaks, basically fake outs on the trend line breaks. But what we can see here on the 4 hour is that money's still been kind of rounding out of this market just a tad bit. It does look like we are ready to maybe move back into that green money flow here on the 4 hour, but I'm not expecting anything crazy of a big move back into the green money flow. And that's just to say, because we've had our red money flow here, but we haven't even had a green dot being a big green dot put in yet. We've had a big green dot here based on the green money flow, but I still think that Bitcoin has still has some downwards momentum to it as well too. You know, we got rejected at this purple trend line here, but this is where we took our last short right here. And then we had that nice pump to the upside, and then it kept falling down, right? And so now what we're seeing here is a retest on that trend line again as resistance, and now possibly another rejection from it too as well. Now we could come back up into the trend line. That's totally possible. It looks like we're starting to get a little bit of Christmas tree patterns here on the Cipher B on the 4 hour too as well. But I'm leaning more towards the bearish side. And then on our 6 hour too as well, what I can see here is money flow has also been kind of rounding off as well. But this is another substantial trend line that, you know, if we break below it, that's going to definitely lead us possibly into, you know, further downtrend, if anything. I do want to see where exactly this was coming from, right at about here, and then all the way up to the top over here. So it looks like we've tried to break below it a couple times, and we found support. But now, more or less than likely, we're probably going to get another red dot here pretty soon on the 6 hour. So this is still looking a little choppy, a little bit unsure of itself. But based on these mid time frames here, like the 4 hour and then moving on into the 6 hour where we're at right now, this definitely looks like it wants to continue to maybe fall below this trend line support. This would be a nice short position for us for sure. I would definitely want to consider the short if we do break below this trend line down here. And that is right at about 11,381. That's looking more of like a good lineup for us. So you can set maybe trend line alert if you'd like, and you know, base it off of that. But that's looking like a good play for us for right now. And then the 8-hour, no trend lines here to take note of. We do have one way down here, but that's below 10.5K. And I think 10.5K, if we do break below this trend line down here, 10.5K is going to be a nice little spot for us to possibly, want to take some profits at. 1 point extension from where we're at right now would definitely send us all the way back down to 10.5K. And based on that money flow just kind of rounding off, that's kind of where it's looking like Bitcoin wants to head to, and maybe the near to short-term future. So September is probably going to be aiming up for that or something. We have a couple of more days left for August, and then we'll be pushed into September. We do have some buy signals that are happening right now on the 12-hour. But red dots are looking like they are wanting to be a little bit more ready to pop off as well. We had the 8-hour buy, 12-hour, nothing here, no buys, mostly sells. Starting to get some EMA crosses as well. So the fact that our lower time frames are giving us a little bit more of a bullish cross, I still don't want to be too... I don't want to ignore the fact that our mid time frames and our higher time frames are telling us that we still might have some bearish momentum coming for us. We do have a 21-hour buy signal, which I think is kind of weird because we didn't have a 12-hour buy signal, but we had this 21-hour buy signal. We'll have to wait to see if this wants to confirm or not. Based on the blue wave, it does look like it may want to confirm, but it could be a fake out more or less. That's what I'm anticipating, is that we'll probably have a nice little pump here, and then probably another push back to the downside based on the money flow action that's also happening here. Looking at the 1 day here, the 1 day also giving us, it looks like we're finding resistance at the 13 EMA. We've always said to keep an eye out on the 50 and then maybe the 100 possibly later on. But what I really want to point out here is as we move into some of these higher time frames, there's not much to see here. Still have some, selling off pressure on the 2 day. We are finding support, but with a green dot here on the 1 day too. But I'm imagining we'll get a nice little Christmas tree pattern here. We could get one substantial pump to the upside. That's a possibility. Just like we saw last short that we took, we had a big liquidation pump to the upside. So let's wait for some clear trend line breaks. I think we're looking at that 6-hour trend line, and then kind of moving forward from there. Red dots here on the 3 day, 4 day red dot. We also had that 4 day sell signal too. So this is pretty big for us too. This kind of tells me that the market might be ready to turn back around the other direction. But we've seen these sell signals pop off during bull rallies too as well. So it's not unusual to see a sell signal on the higher time frames during bull rallies, but it's just something that we need to consider as well, to say, okay, maybe there's going to be a little bit of a sell-off. There might be a little bit of a fire sell. On the 5 day, we haven't gotten a sell signal just yet, but we are starting to see that blue momentum wave start to clip back down to the bottom side too as well. Other than that, I think money flow is still looking pretty healthy on a lot of these higher time frames. So overall, given if we get through September, with a little bit of a sell-off, I think October is probably going to flip back bullish for us, if anything. But for the most part, I'm expecting probably a little bit of retracement, maybe all the way back down to 10.5K. If that we'll see how much the bulls want to step in here and then go from there. But we can see our trend line here on our 6-hour. This would probably be a nice little short for us if we wanted to take it. But I'll keep y'all up to date with that. I'm just kind of waiting on the sidelines right now. I'm not getting too anxious or hasty on trying to take a trade right now. Just let's wait for the proper setup, and then we can go from there. So hopefully that made sense to y'all, and we can stay patient with this and let the market come to us when the time is right. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to message me. And yeah, I'll see you on the. Oh, also, by the way, for the Patreon members, I'm going to be opening up the 35% off special. So if you're paying the $60 a month right now, I will be opening up for the $40 a month the first week of September. So if you'd like to get the discount special monthly price, you can check back on the Patreon page for that first week of September, and you should be able to move into that tier. So that way you can pay a little bit less too as well. But I'll open that up on the first week of the month, and then yeah, you can always get signed up for that 35% off special tier if you'd like. All right, folks, I'll see y'all on the next one. Message me if y'all have any questions. I'll see y'all then. CTO signing out. Peace.